This is Ashley Nofke and you're watching Cricket Australia TV.
No, we haven't even finalised our 12 yet. Marcus North's not here with us training today. He's back at the hotel with a bit of gastro, so a few of the guys have gone down during the week with something similar that sort of lasted 24 hours, so we're hoping the same thing with him. But being an afternoon training session today, we wanted to have a closer look at the wicket anyway this afternoon. We've trained the last 2 mornings, so the wicket's probably been a little bit damper then than it will be this afternoon. So we'll have a closer look after training today. Probably let the guys know the 12 before we leave training and finalise the 11 in the morning. I don't know if we're leaning anyway right at the moment. There's been some serious discussion already over the last couple of days, or last 24 hours especially, about playing the spinner out here in this venue. Looking back through the records, spinners have done okay here. They've had to work pretty hard. They bowl lots of overs for their wickets here, which is pretty much the way right through South Africa anyway. But I don't think there's any real standout reason why you'd make that change. So yeah, we've got a number of things to consider, and obviously Marcus's health is one of those issues. I'd still like to think there's been a lot of intensity around our training. Sure, the guys have enjoyed themselves right from the start of the tour. It's always important that you have a lot of fun around your group. We've you say we've been relaxed the last couple of days. We probably trained as long as we have for a while on Monday. Yesterday was probably a slightly easier session. Today we'll just pick things up a little bit more again and make sure that we just sort of top everything off for going into tomorrow. But as far as expectation goes, look, I said right from the start, I thought the majority of expectation in this series is on the South Africans anyway. We just came over here with a pretty simple plan of the way that we wanted to play our cricket, and we've executed things very well over in the first 2 Test matches, and we want to improve on that and give ourselves every opportunity of another good result here. So we'll work hard today and make sure that we're as well prepared as we possibly can be. Oh, we haven't got any other batters. There's no other batters here to bring in. So look, hopefully Marcus comes up, because he's been vital to us in both Test matches, whether it be bat or, as you saw, he gave us some very handy overs of off spin in the last Test match. So hopefully we've got a full list of players to choose from. If we have, then it's going to make the selection a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we'll hope that he comes up okay in the morning. Obviously, we know that Graham Smith, their captain and one of the best players in the world, is not going to be in their side. So we're all very aware of that. We know that they're probably going to make a couple of changes, or they've made a couple of changes, probably make 3 changes from the last week. So we know what we have to do. One thing I don't want to do is get too carried away with what we've achieved and what we've done. We've won our last 3 Test matches in a row against South Africa, but it's important that we forget about all those things, but remember the things that have made us play the level of cricket that we have. So that's what we've spoken about all week as a group. If you look back a couple of, probably a month ago or 6 weeks ago, it was the shoe was on exactly the opposite foot. They were in an unassailable position going into the last Test in Sydney, and maybe they weren't quite switched on to what they needed to be, and we ended up winning that Test, and look what that's sort of carried into. So, this is our last Test match for a little while now, but we've got another huge series against England coming up for our next lot of Test match cricket, and we want to keep improving all the time. So we'll be putting our best foot forward here and trying to force another good result for our team. Oh, look, you've got to change your approach every game that you play, basically. I mean, we've been in the situation in the last 6 or 8 months where we've found it difficult to put our same team on the park for injuries and guys retiring and all that sort of thing. I've heard a number of reasons why, but I think our bowling group, from Sydney on, have worked extremely well together. I think we've got a really rounded attack now that have certainly fitted in and worked very well in these conditions. So it's always nice as a captain or as a player in a side, I guess, that when you can put the same team on the park game after game. So yeah, that's been good. Yeah, he played well down there. He probably, obviously, us knowing very little about him going into the first innings of the game probably was the reason that he sort of got off to the start that he did. Saying that, we've been able to pick his technique to pieces over the last few days since he's been named in their squad, and we've got some certain plans to him that we need to execute very well tomorrow. But saying that, yeah, he played very well against us down in Potch, so we have to make sure we're right on the ball from the start tomorrow and not let him get away to the sort of start he got away to in Potchefstroom. I think you do that every day as a cricketer. I think you do it when you're batting. You're switching on and off between balls all the time when you're out in the field, and I think the longer you try and keep yourself up for and concentrate the whole time, the worse off you can be. I think proof's probably in the pudding with us as a group and some of our individual players in the team, that whenever we've had a short break, we've managed to switch back on and play probably better than we were playing before. So I don't think there's any reason or magic remedy as to why you can do that. It just comes down to making sure you've got your preparation right. If you, we've had those 3 or 4 days away, but since we've been back together as a group, everything's been focused on making sure we're as well prepared as we can be for this game. And I won't let any individual go into this game that hasn't got their head around what challenges lie ahead for them this week. So that's the important thing. You can't afford to carry, a couple of days break into the start of a test match. You lose the first hour, you lose the first session, the game can be slipping away from you very quickly. So our whole focus is making sure we're right for the start of the game tomorrow morning. And you'll see us today, our intensity of training today will be very high, and we'll make sure we get everything done that we can to ensure that we're right to go tomorrow morning.